is going to be about my experience growing up in the United States as a Mexican American. Now, there's a whole range of different stories that other Mexican Americans have. Personally, I've tried to find some of these stories on YouTube or on the internet and elsewhere, and I just haven't found many that were like mine to relate to, so I thought it would be good to kind of share my story and see if anyone else feels the same way, because we're a big group of people. We're a big demographic of people, Latinos in the United States, and I feel like it's time for our stories to be shared. So let's go ahead and get started with mine. My mom is American. We think she's on her side, she has some Dutch heritage, and then the other half it comes from my dad's side, which has been traced back in Mexico for a really long time. So I'm half Mexican, half American. Growing up in Oregon specifically, there weren't a ton of Latinos. Growing up, I actually looked like a legit Mexican child because I was so dark and brown when I was little. But now that as I've gotten older, I have gotten continuously whiter. Around elementary school, I didn't have a lot of Latino friends because most of the kids were white. It was never an issue in elementary school. It was never brought up, like what I was. Even though my name sounded very Latin, I wasn't very Latin. I was very white. I liked all the things my mom liked. Soft rock, Elton John, Phil Collins, Madonna, Shania Twain, all that stuff. But then she listened to Selena a lot, so I liked Selena. My dad introduced me to this band called Timbiriche from the 80s, and I grew up really liking their stuff because he gave me this videotape of all their concerts, and I loved watching them grow up from being little kids to adults. And so I had some cultural references from Mexico to like hold on to for a while, but I never got the experience of growing up in a household that spoke Spanish, even though my entire family spoke Spanish. My mom spoke Spanish, my grandma spoke Spanish, and they were both white. And my dad, obviously he spoke Spanish, so no one decided to teach me. So I've had to learn Spanish throughout my school years, and that's been a struggle of its own. Going into middle school, I didn't know enough Spanish to be friends with the Mexican kids who were already kind of grouping together. I wanted so badly to be a part of the Mexican group of kids because I felt like that was a side of me that was really special and unique to me. Ever since I was a little kid, I felt like being Mexican was so special. All I wanted to be was part of the Mexican kid group, the Mexican as a whole group. And in middle school, I did a lot of theater, and there's not a whole lot of Latinos in theater, but funny enough, I had quite a few Mexican boyfriends in middle school. So that's interesting. Not a lot of Latino friends, but like 90% of my boyfriends in middle school were Mexican. In high school is where it got a little bit more groupy. There was an actual clique of Mexican students who would hang out together, and I would have class with some of them, and I would try to talk to them and be friends with them, but it was hard to relate because I don't know if it was the individuals or what, but I couldn't quite relate to them on the same level, so it was hard to be friends with them. In my group of friends, I was called the whitest Mexican they knew because I didn't speak Spanish. When I go home, I didn't have enchiladas or carne asada for dinner or that was cooked by my Mexican mom. My dad immigrated from Mexico when he was 21, and he left for a reason. The situation down there wasn't for him. So it's hard to try and get any kind of culture from the only side that you have culture from when they want to move on with their life, that they want to move on from that part of their life and not really talk about it all the time. That has also been a struggle, but there's a lot of good things that have come from being Mexican in the United States. My entire school career funding has been helped by the fact that I'm a minority and get good grades, and I'm also a female. And that's been awesome for diversity's sake. Like, it's given me so many opportunities. So there are benefits institutionally, which is interesting. A lot of times I define myself as Mexican, even though I'm very not traditionally, culturally Mexican. I feel like there's a part of me that really does identify with it. It's hard to explain because I want to connect with my Mexican side so badly because I feel like it's a wonderful culture, and you should always honor where you come from. And one of the biggest questions I've had in my life is, am I fake? Am I a fake Mexican? Can I even count myself as Mexican because I don't practice any of the traditions or embrace a lot of the cultural aspects that I should, that would make me like a true Mexican? And is it fake if I try to adopt those cultural aspects, or if I want to embrace more of the traditions and the food and learn how to cook and learn how to speak Spanish? Does that make me fake? I don't know. Does it make me someone I'm not? These are questions I ask myself, and I just want to know if anyone else asks themselves these questions too. I hope that others tell their story, because it's really important to tell your story. There's a musical group that came to the University of Oregon called Las Cafeteras, and they talked about how important it is to tell your story. And I just want to know what other people's stories are and share my own. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment, and we can have a discussion. That's totally my thing. If you like the video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to release some more in the upcoming weeks now that I'm back from my study abroad trip in Ireland. I will see you guys next time.